Let's go now to Oded Lifshitz, the grandson of Yocheved and Oded Lifshitz, who were kidnapped by Hamas and taken into the Gaza Strip. 85-year-old Yocheved was one of the first hostages to be released from captivity back in October. Her husband, however, remains in Gaza. Thank you so very much, Daniel, for joining us. This is still so difficult knowing that one of your grandparents has been released, the other still in captivity. Have you heard anything from the government representatives in charge of this, or know anything about when it's likely that your grandfather will return?
We have no news about that. We are extremely worried because the information we had is from one of the hostages that came back. She told us that she was there with my grandfather, and she was in a place where they are not getting medicine, and my grandfather is 83 years old, and he needs medicine for the blood pressure, and he has some lung disease. So that's extremely hard to know that he's there still now, so many days after, 74 days after. That's really horrifying us, and you know, hope dies last, but this is what we have now, and we look forward to hear fast news about the release and next deal.
Well, hopefully, as the Mossad chief is meeting with the Qatari Prime Minister, some news of an imminent hostage deal, another one, in fact, could be at least on the table. But Daniel, what do a lot of the hostage families feel toward, obviously, the feelings of anguish, distrust, even faith, hope? There's a fortune of complexities with regards to how Israel feels with its own government. But the International Red Cross that is supposed to be aiding hostages, aiding those captives, non-combatants all throughout the world, have been largely silent in the Gaza Strip. Is there some sort of disappointment in the way that they've been handling this? Would you like for them to be able to visit your grandfather and provide him with medicine that he so desperately needs?
So in front of the ICRC, which I met also in New York, I can say that, again, I will tell the same words for them, that they must stop being taxi drivers and they must act differently. They must act and take actions they never took before, because something that never happened before happened. So they must take actions that they never took before. That's what I'm saying about that. It's worrying me. They must take those actions. And but, you know, we are here now, and now we can deal and be in front of our government and other international press for the release of the hostages. As finally, yeah, the Red Cross, they don't do their job. They don't go to see their situation. They don't know, they don't give them medicine, but they are not the ones that are releasing the hostages, and they are not the ones that are negotiating about that. They need to do their work. But now the most important work is to release the hostages, which means that's the pressure. We need to continue push on our government that need to take action and be creative and take out the prisoners of Hamas and put them on the border if they need, or deal any negotiation they can, and they need to come with the offers. The international ones have to press more Qatar as much as possible, press Egypt to make a deal, press Saudi, doing the work with the Arab countries harder. The Americans, they just need to continue and do what they do. I think we are very lucky to have them. I see things are moving here, and I expect our government to continue and take any deal and do it fast. There is no time. We must understand the time is finished. But as well, Hamas needs to agree for the deal and bring it from their side as well. They should stand out and bring those people, those 83 years old people, many old people. We saw in the video yesterday about Chaim Perry and Cooper and Munder, they are all from my kibbutz, from Kibbutz Nir Oz. You see their situation. It's just unimaginable that they kidnap those elderly and so many others from their own beds, and they are still there. They should take them and release them now, immediately, as well.
Absolutely, and it's something obviously the international community continues to forget, that we are not talking about IDF reservists or even those in active duty. A lot of the men that are still there, as you mentioned, are non-combatants. They are the elderly. And Daniel, I do apologize for the sensitive question that I want to ask you, but obviously also that we've seen in the last couple of days, unfortunately, hostages being caught up with the IDF's military operation in the Gaza Strip. Is there a sense of concern? A lot of the hostage families holding out hope and faith, and as you mentioned, pushing the pressure and making sure the government knows this is your top priority. Is there some kind of concern that the government's two priorities, being getting rid of Hamas and securing the hostages' safety, might coincide and clash with one another?
I think, the Prime Minister Netanyahu is the one that is responsible for as well for the things that happened, and he is the responsible for releasing the hostages, and he's the responsible of the life of the soldiers, and he needs to take everything in consideration and to work and do everything possible for the life of the hostages, the life of the soldiers, and I come to strength as well the soldiers that are fighting. They are doing amazing work. They are big, they are brave, they are courage, and I can just strengthen them, and I can strengthen the cabinet to take a deal and continue to something that will see the end of that coming soon. Of course, their top issue, top priority, most important thing now, they have to bring those hostages back home because they are dying there. And the fighting is dangerous, the bombing is dangerous, the danger of the hostages is huge. Now they have to do everything. They need to stop now, bring those hostages back home, do whatever you need. The life of the hostages is the responsibility of the cabinet and the Prime Minister Netanyahu. And it must do everything for them to come back home safely.
Daniel Lifshitz, the grandson of Yocheved and Oded Lifshitz, who were kidnapped by Hamas. Yocheved returned home to Israel shortly after the beginning of the war, while Oded Lifshitz, his grandfather, is still in captivity by Hamas. I want to thank you so very much for taking the time to be with me here this afternoon.